Chinese President Xi Jinping has made the world China's enemy, and he's done this to consolidate his hold over power, says a senior professor at China's elite Central Party School. Now, Professor Cai Xia has served both with President Xi Jinping and before him earlier with former President Hu Jintao. And according to Cai, China is now powerless to question Xi Jinping. She's accused the president of killing both the party and the country.
He has made the world an enemy. No one can oppose him. His power is unchecked. He has killed a party and a country. He's like a mafia boss. This is the strongest criticism of the Chinese President Xi Jinping, and it comes from a Communist Party insider. Cai Xia, a former professor at China's elite Central Party School, has just been expelled from the Chinese Communist Party for showing a mirror to the Chinese President Xi Jinping. Speaking to The Guardian professor, Cai accused Xi Jinping of damaging China's reputation globally.
In its exuberance to attain a greater glory and greater power, China has indulged in a lot of inhuman activities, whether it be killing of the Chinese in China and abroad, for trying to resist the state, for trying to speak up against the state. And recently, Ms. Xia has been expelled from the party. This news in New York Times of yesterday. And it only shows that there is no room for dissent in the Chinese political spectrum with Mr. Xi there.
Professor Cai accused Xi Jinping of using the current tension along the India-China line of actual control and with the US to consolidate his hold over power in China. She said people in China were now scared to give President Xi the real picture. She questioned Xi Jinping's silence on the coronavirus till January 20, when he knew about the spread of the virus on January 7th. Professor Cai is now out of China, but feels confident because people are now getting to know about the ground realities. She feels there will be a transition to democracy. Bureau Report, India Today.
And so what the professor has just said. Joining me on the show is Lieutenant General Rakesh Sharma. He's former Ladakh co-commander, and Jaydev Ranade, former Additional Secretary of the Research and Analysis Wing. Professor Jaydev Ranade also heads the think tank on China. And let me begin by asking him, Jaydev Ranade, is this the correct depiction of Chinese President Xi Jinping? Is he a virtual dictator now in China with unquestioned authority?
He certainly has concentrated virtually all the powers in his person, and he is unchallenged for the present. As Cai Xia said in her latest interview, she has said that the Politburo, which is about 25 people, are important and they've been emasculated by Xi Jinping. That was the language that she used, and which gives an idea of how powerful he has become. In fact, coming from Cai Xia, it's very, very pertinent because she has been for 17 years in the Central Party School as a senior faculty member. The people there are handpicked for political reliability and loyalty to the party. She herself is what we call a red descendant. She is the daughter of Communist Party officials, and she has spoken out. I think, it's commendable. In fact, let me just mention here that she has been speaking out for quite some time, even before leaving China. Yes. She's now from the United States, but she has spoken out earlier. She has written essays really castigating Xi Jinping and shown the courage in that.
But is she an isolated voice, General Sharma? Tension in Ladakh and tension both in South and East China Sea are ways to distract from problems within China, according to Professor Cai Xia. And she says that these are being used as tools by him to consolidate his hold over China. In your appreciation, is this a correct assessment?
Yes, absolutely right. See, there have been dissidents earlier also. There was President Zhu, Professor Zhu from the Tsinghua University in Beijing, who wrote an article 2 years ago, and he was interned subsequently. There was also a real estate tycoon who made statements, and he was also. But you know, if you see in the last 4 years, the Chinese government has interned nearly 500,000 people on corruption charges, a very easy way to move people out. Now, what Cai Xia has said now is more and more relevant because she is a Communist Party member and she has been teaching. She was, like you rightly said, she was at the same time when Hu Jintao and President Xi Jinping were heading the same school. So it comes a little more strength. And one of the issues which got mentioned is important, which I feel, is that there is a vicious cycle of mistakes being done by President Xi Jinping. And this vicious cycle of mistakes will lead to more and more mistakes that will happen in future. You know, more mistakes will follow. That's a very ominous remark being made by Cai Xia at this time. And, you know, it gives us a feeling that while there have been equations of the President Xi with Mao, but he is not Mao, and China is not China of those years. So if he's going to do mistakes,
and we don't want those disasters that took place then absolutely to take place once again, and especially the tension at the India-China line of actual control. But Jaidev Ranade, you watch China very, very closely on a daily basis. Are there no systems anymore of checks and balances in China to check President Xi Jinping? Is there merit in the assessment that Xi Jinping may well emerge as 21st century's Adolf Hitler?
Well, the fact is that today he is undoubtedly very powerful. He seems to have even won over or silenced the veterans who are quite influential themselves. But there are 2 points that I think we need to keep in mind in Cai Xia's statement. One, the fact that she's spoken out, and the fact that she also made a reference to Ran Chichang, who is also a princeling, who has just been expelled from the party, in fact, the same day as Cai Xia, and who is going to be tried on various charges. So it indicates that there is growing resentment within the party, and particularly among the influential group of people who are called princelings, the children of high-ranking cadres and veteran cadres. Xi Jinping is also one. So it does indicate that discontent is spreading. And within the Chinese Communist Party Central Committee particularly, which has about 350 members, if this discontent reaches a certain pitch, then Xi Jinping's position becomes very, very insecure. He has blundered. In fact, a large number of people were pointing out right from the beginning, telling him not to take on the United States. That is premature. The US is far, far stronger than China. And now they point to the fact that China is beleaguered. It has no friends. And they lay that accusation squarely at Xi Jinping's door. But again, as I said, the fact is this intent has to reach a critical mass before Xi Jinping.
Will it reach a critical mass? Because already there are massive job losses within China. The economy is in tailspin. At least that is what several commentators are now saying. And should problems increase for Xi Jinping, like in the past, will he want to use a short, sharp war, General Sharma, at the border and perhaps at the India-China border as diversionary tactics closer to October?
Okay, you know, while we know there is a problem internally within the country, but he has control on the Communist Party, as it seems presently, is also on the PLA. There may be rumblings, but these are very large party that he has and a large constituency that he controls. So it is not that he is going off so easily, even if he is shown dictatorial tendencies. So having said that, how will his mistakes manifest itself, whether he'll be able to take out the attention of his people away from the rumblings that are obviously there and take it on, because there is some news item saying that there is something happened in Inner Mongolia also, where people were agitating against his whatever he was doing. So, you know, all this when added together to draw attention out, whether he'll take it out on his peripheral neighbors, which also includes India, and have we been having problems on the line of actual control? Well, things have to be seen. But the fact of the matter is that it's always better to be cautious of what can happen in a state like this, where entire lot of news is not available. Yes.
Take a look at what's happening on ground zero at this point of time. The Chinese expansionist regime, it's been called out as an expansionist regime by India. It continues to provoke India, not just at the line of actual control, but quite close to it. So what's the fresh provocation? China's most advanced fighter jets, the stealth fighters, were spotted making their first known appearance at the Hotan Air Base in Xinjiang. The base has seen a lot of activity during the current India-China standoff.
This is China's most advanced fighter aircraft. Claimed to be a fifth-generation stealth combat jet, the Chengdu J-20. The fighter entered service with the Chinese Air Force in 2017 and has since been the object of global curiosity and speculation. And now, two of these jets have been spotted making their first known appearance at the Hotan Air Base in China's Xinjiang. One of the bases that has seen activity amidst the current India-China standoff in Ladakh. The undated image is said to be from the July-August period. The appearance of these two jets could be the most significant development in what has been a very visible beefing up of deployments here. These satellite images from July show a significant operational readiness of Chinese jets, with analysts assessing that these would almost certainly be in preparation for possible hostilities in eastern Ladakh. But what does the arrival of a pair of J-20s to the Hotan Air Base near Ladakh really mean? And what does it have to do with the current military tensions? For starters, the J-20 is still a wholly unproven jet, and its arrival at the Hotan base could be part of its ongoing testing at high-altitude air bases. Of course, China's attempt to project force and remind India of its lack of true stealth jet cannot be ruled out. The J-20 has also been part of military exercises, and this could be part of that. While very little is known with certainty about the J-20, and while combat jets must always be taken seriously, its hyped capabilities have met with skepticism.
J-20 is a claimed fifth-generation aircraft as per its designer. However, what is clearly visible is the aircraft is not stealthy and definitely not from the rear or the side quarters. I don't think they reach the level of stealth where you could actually start, getting worried. To my mind, I do believe that the Rafale is probably more stealthy than the J-20 is in an all-round fashion.
While India doesn't have a stealth jet of its own, the Indian Air Force's Rafale jets are believed to be more capable, even in the realm of overall stealth technologies. Given China's openly hostile intentions, the appearance of these jets not far from the standoff zone is being watched closely by the Indian military and has been taken note of. Bureau Report, India Today.
India is watching developments in the neighborhood very closely, and for a moment, let's now shift focus to our neighbor to the west. Let's talk about Pakistan, completely isolated after a royal snub by the Saudi Crown Prince, Mohammed bin Salman. Now, Mohammed bin Salman did not give an audience to General Qamar Javed Bajwa, the chief of the Pakistan Army. Now, Pakistan's Prime Minister Imran Khan has admitted to this global isolation and said China is their only hope.
Pakistan-Saudi ties are at an all-time low after a royal snub by the kingdom. Days after Pakistan's Foreign Minister Shah Mahmood Qureshi's remarks against Riyadh for its refusal to back Pakistan on Kashmir, Army Chief General Qamar Javed Bajwa had to return empty-handed from Saudi after Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman denied him a meeting. Prime Minister Imran Khan dismissed reports that Islamabad-Riyadh ties had taken a deep dive. Ever since India abrogated Article 370, which granted special status to Jammu and Kashmir, Saudi Arabia has refused to back Pakistan, something which has frustrated the Imran Khan government. While Imran Khan may claim China as his only trusted friend, it's unlikely to help him on the global arena because of the world outrage against Beijing's expansionist policies. Bureau Report, India Today.
Jaidev Ranade, in your appreciation, is this then the end of the road for Saudi Arabia-Pakistan ties for all practical purposes, and is Pakistan now a Chinese client state?
Well, certainly Pakistan-Saudi relations are going to be strained for quite some time to come. This kind of a snub is something which is extremely unusual. But if Pakistan expects China to bail it out financially, the way Saudi Arabia has been bailing it out all these years, it's going to find itself getting a bit of a shock. China itself has serious economic problems. Its unemployment has shot up from 20 million unemployed in 2019 to 70 million unemployed by April this year. The production has gone down in the factories. They're not getting any orders.
Okay.
The economy has contracted. And so there is a lot of problem. China gave Pakistan $1 billion. But let me just mention one more fact.
Yes.
As you know, China is building about 60 power plants in Pakistan linked with the China-Pakistan economic corridor. And recently, within the last couple of days, there has been a massive exposure of Chinese companies having siphoned off billions of dollars from Pakistan. They have charged double the tariff for power generated.
Yes.
They have made money on fuel. They have made money on parts, etc. And now Pakistan has...
And they're beating up Pakistani soldiers.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Let me also bring in General Sharma. Yes, General Sharma, with Pakistan virtually now being a Chinese client state or slave state, the way they're beating up Pakistan Army soldiers, do we then see more tension along the LOC, along with the LAC? Because perhaps China would not want us to concentrate on the LOC, on the LAC. Will we see trouble on the line of control with Pakistan?
Okay, I just want to make two small points elsewhere. See, the statement made by Shah Mahmood Qureshi was about Kashmir, and he wanted a meeting of the foreign ministers of the OIC, which the Saudi Arabia had not agreed for, which, of course, the chief of the Pakistan Army had gone to apologize. It gives a rise to a fact that Kashmir as an issue which Pakistan has been raising over last 7 decades in the Arab world has run its course, when Saudi Arabia is also not wanting to support it. And also after that,
Yes.
Pakistanis already have a brigade or some force sitting in Saudi Arabia. So despite all this, the Saudi Arabian crown prince had shirked him away. Okay, you know, that's a very great pain that he would have come back with. But then coming back to the question that you had asked. So the fact of the matter is that he has to rely on China greatly. China has got tremendous amount of energy is put into Gilgit-Baltistan. It's taking out gems, metals, uranium, establishing a SEZ in Gilgit-Baltistan and POK. So willy-nilly, the entire area of Gilgit-Baltistan has been kind of given away to the Chinese for exploitation, right up to Ginche, which is right next to Saltoro range. So, you know, you can imagine that the Pakistanis are emphasizing more and more of relationship with China, and therefore the tensions on the LOC are also likely to be enhanced in times to come.
Okay, we'll be tracking that story very, very closely. Gentlemen, I've run out of time on this debate, but one thing remains very clear. India's deft diplomacy is producing results. Now, before we go, I want to leave you with images of a befitting tribute paid to 2 of our braves who were killed in action combating terrorists in Baramulla district of Jammu and Kashmir. 3 terrorists were killed in that gunfight, which started after the attack on the police and the CRPF, and news is just coming in. 2 more terrorists have now been killed in another encounter in Jammu and Kashmir.
Hi everyone, Preeti Chaudhary here. Hope you like this video. For latest news and analysis, like and subscribe to the India Today YouTube channel. And don't forget to press the bell icon to stay updated. Thank you for watching.